The Volta River or Volta Lake serves different purposes to different people depending on the location. For some, the purpose could be transportation, lake transport, or for power generation by majority shareholder VRA, then recreational facility, and also for domestic use, and even a god to traditionalists. For the people at Kpong in the lower Manyakrobo municipality of the eastern region, the river is for fishing. The locals say they are not happy with the invasion of aquatic weeds on the Volta River, their source of livelihood. According to the fisher folk, the aquatic weeds make fishing on the lake extremely difficult. The situation is getting out of hand because the weeds grow at different times in the year during the dry and rainy seasons, and each time new ones sprout. There is the water lily, water lettuce, and others.
That's the water hyacinth. Very, very dangerous.
This is what
they also grow fast, and it can cover the surface in such a way that you can walk on it.
Hey.
Oh yes. Sometimes if it take over this place, it can let the level go down.
The water level?
Yes. Cytophyrum.
How fast does it grow?
They can grow fast too. So far the sunlight is on, just becoming.
And then how deep is it in the water? Is it just at the surface or it has?
No, it's from the under part.
So we are currently on the Volta Lake, just going around to assess the type of weeds and the extent of the damage caused to the lake. We've been told that about 10 different types of weeds have invaded the Volta Lake and are causing a lot of troubles to the fishermen here. Some of the fishermen claim that some of the weeds are poisonous and have caused harm to their skins with blisters. We've also been told by officials working here off camera that they are doing their best to get the weeds off the lake to ensure safe navigation on the Volta Lake whenever the fishermen come here for fishing.
Before the construction of the Akuse Dam in the 80s, this entire area had settlements of people living and working.
This place used to be a football park where people lived. It used to be a settlement where people were living before the construction of the Akuse Dam, but the water had to be diverted and then their houses were swallowed up by the Volta Lake. But the people were resettled to neighboring towns, Akuse, Pom Quarters. But now they still refer to this place as Stadium anyway, just for memory, and it also help them during navigating the water to know their way, where they are going and what they'll do. As at now, the water level has gone down. It's shallow, it's not too deep, so that is what they are indicating with their working tool to show us how deep it is.
The weeds have made the water unsafe for fishing, navigation on the river a challenge, and also caused siltation of the riverbed. The fear is that the weeds may also provide a refuge for the snail host of the bilharzia worm. About 15 different species of fish are harvested from the river. The well-liked ones being tilapia and anchovies, popularly known locally as 1,000. The fishermen complain that though the fish stock has dwindled drastically over the years, the weeds are also serving as a haven for the fish to hide, making it difficult to gain access to them. The Volta River Authority VRA is said to have contracted a company 6 years ago to clear the weeds from the river. But the fisher folk say not much has been achieved in the last 6 years since work began.
As we are passing here, you could see we find it difficult when the wind blow like this. Even this area will cover, and we can't get way out. So even because of the invasive with the fishes all escaped and hide under this. So you not get enough cash. So this problem to us. My advice is they should speed up and employ many people to clear the weeds, because the weeds has covered the surface of the water and we can't get the fishes. Sometimes you come empty-handed because all the fishes are hide under the weeds. So to me, the VRA should step up, employ many people to clear all the weeds. With this, it can help us a lot.
First on a yibuawo, ibedeke yibuam say yibuawo, because that time nga hearing pa no kicking. Na space nge, lo me ma tuning e fe ko fine. Na jamata mo Kenya me ma realize fish pond bay system on jamata mo.
Years ago, the lake was beneficial to us because there were fewer weeds in it, and fish farming was virtually non-existent. We want government to get the weeds cleared as soon as possible.
Fish pond na occupy space of clan wa chuoning occupy le jomekla lo ene wa find only difficult kawa ma no ma na lo keba lo ene wa market e point
lo mi nyengela na penge ngai na kai cover he fe ni wa mapo blobi
ya ni wa la ne apeji ajenga me kawo ne wa nu ka viaring J ne wa mana on kan J se ni o me na employ na angenga jio ko ye nga no hear me ke no mo kan tin na nga no jio ke 10 years po na me po abi majita lo anya more hands lo sana I employ more workers ni nga pa anya ne ka I employ me ame ma chuni chimi ga pie na wa pa ma pekle because you know ji nyune ki nwenya make the West Africa also angenu na wa wata so nge nearby se pa occupy lo hene wanyo ne wa pinoko lo I employ more workers kuna nyina akle pa no how.
Some accused the VRA of not placing premium on their problems and hence the neglect.
Addressing the people on this river, who we should concern? Is it the VRA? So now you are concerned VRA. VRA has not done nothing about it. So now what are we, the fisher, what are you telling us?
They've done nothing about it. We came to meet some workers on site.
It is not enough. How many workers could they, harvest these aquatic things? How many are they? Are they up to 10? Are they up to 10? The number is very few. So if the number is very few, how can they, to combat these aquatic needs? If the numbers are very huge, about 100, within a certain stage or a certain month, this will be done something about it. This is organic manure. What about if the government has employed many people and factory has been built? And this factory that is built is used to germinate organic manure for our farmers.
The people complained that fishing on the river is no longer a lucrative business, but something to help them just get by.
The fishing business is not too good these days. Most of what we catch are dead fish.
At the time of our visit, there were 3 aquatic weed harvesters on site, but none was working on the 3 different days we visited. We were there in May 2019. Rather, workers were clearing the weeds with cutlasses on the river. The aquatic weed harvester clears all types of weeds from water and operates like an underground lawnmower. The team gathered that the machines are operated by 2 workers. However, one operator was on leave while the other was indisposed due to a problem with his leg.
There are some activities going on in the river. When we cooperate to the EPA, nothing has been done. Fisheries Commission, nothing has been done. There is a lot. If the whole ministry will come down here, we will be able to tell them the problem that we are facing. We have told them several times, and they have said nothing, or they have done nothing about it. Up to now, what are they waiting for? Do they want the grass to be killing the innocent fisher folks who have nothing to do, that they rely on this? When they start dying, will the GPA and the Fisheries Commission moving to their aid? We want something to be happy or something to happen before our ministers or those people who are in authority to come down to us. Are they what? That is what they are telling.
Hello, it's a beautiful Friday morning, and thank you so much for joining us on Weekly Press Review, your most authoritative news analysis program where we discuss the stories that made it onto the front pages of the dailies in the course of the week to provide you with more insight as to what's happening in the country and beyond. My name is Sani Abdurrahman, and today we have a packed show for you. I have two gentlemen in the studio to help with the discussion. I have another two gentlemen who will be joining later on the show via Zoom to provide us with some insight on other issues that we'll be discussing as well on today's program. Let me quickly introduce the in-studio guests before I run you through some of the stories that made it onto the front pages. On my immediate left is George. You see, George is the Communication Director, National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, and a member of the MPP Communication Team. Remember, NADMO has been in the news this week, and George will be answering a lot of questions. George, you've been trending this week. Just after George, just after George is Elikem Kotoko. Elikem is a member of the NDC Communication Team. Elikem is the first time I'm meeting you on the show. Of course, I've watched you a number of times on the show, and we're going to have an interesting discussion. And
went into hibernation.
Really? For what reason?
I decided to sit quietly to plot the defeat of the current government.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Of course, the stories we'll be discussing on the show today. You know, the NDC and the EC were in courts, and that issue dominated discussion. So we'll be discussing that issue extensively on the show. And also COVID-19, our case count has hit 10,000 and has even exceeded, as of this morning, the case count is around 10,589, and that's somehow alarming, but the health experts have indicated that they are still in charge of the situation. We have no reason to be alarmed. We'll be delving more into that issue as well, of course, with some of the issues that also dominated headlines in the course of the week. George, let me start with you quickly. Of course, if you look at where the case count has gotten to, we have no choice than to open today's program with that topic. George, are you worried we've exceeded 10,000 and we are somehow getting to 10,500?
Thank you, my brother Sani Abdurrahman. Let me say good morning to our viewers. Good morning to you, your production crew. Good morning to my brother Elikem. Yes, I have to be worried that the number is still going high, hitting 10,000. But when I compare to, what we've experienced in other parts of the world, it shows that, yes, it's going up, but is nowhere near certain places that have had over 100,000 loss of lives and in millions and co. You get it? But the last time I checked, I think on CNN or one of the channels, South Africa controls about a quarter of the total case, yes, in Africa. 10,000 is on the high. But it's also, what's also interesting is that the number of tests is also gone up to over 239, almost 40,000 tests. So it means we have an enhanced testing, and I like the issue because it's a pointed test. What it means is that contact tracing. They are not just doing routine testing and co. They are adding, you know, there's a term they use for those kind of tests. So I think it's worrying, but because a lot of people have been tested, we are getting the numbers that way. What it means is also that we are being honest with ourselves, you know, to know that the issue is here. What do we have to do to get it? I'm comforted, not too satisfied, but comforted with the fact that the recovery rate is also going up. You get it? As the figure before me is 3,755. This is because we premised that on 10,000. So good. So the what is before me is yes. They've been because the initial total is 10,201, but you updated yours before now. So that is the issue. And then yes, the death rate is also not as escalated as we feared from the initial stages. 48 is on the high side, but you know, if you look at the number of people infected and you look at this and vis-a-vis the recovery rate, it's a bit okay that we can manage it. The health people are doing a yeoman's job. They are giving of their best to protect all of us. But the most important aspect, and I understand we have critically ill at 14 or so, yeah, which is also worrying. And we know that a lot of people, as of the last time the president spoke, or earlier, the one before that, he made mention of the fact that most of the death cases have underlying diseases. Okay, so it's important for all of us to be careful, especially those of us who have other chronic diseases, so that this will not come and aggravate the situation. So let's all be careful as a people. The disease is here with us. Let's know how to handle our issues. You wash our hands. Now you know the focus is actually when you are coming is a bit last. You get it in many places. But GBC is okay. It's the people are there still. For let's enforce the use of the safety protocol so that we'll all be safe.
Well, Elikem, your initial remarks to the COVID situation in the country.
Sonny, good morning. First and foremost, permit me to say a happy birthday to 3 people. One, the Accra mayor.
The invoice will be
I hardly do this, and surprisingly, it has to be 3 of them. And the Accra mayor, Bora, and Honorable Emmanuel Hakuma Bombande. Happy birthday to them all, and to gallant soldiers also. Talk about COVID-19. Sonny, it still remains an undeniable fact that considering where we are today, we could have done much better, but for the failure of leadership to listen to the cry of Ghanaians at the time it mattered most. If you've watched the scene, gradually, I have heard so far in the UK, some proponents have begun to even accuse governments, saying that, look, had they shut down a week before when they took the decision to do so, the situation would have been different. And Ghana is no exception. Look, I hold a view till date, unless someone can prove me wrong, that this whole virus was actually imported into this country by the president. A fact that everybody will want to deny because we do not have a strong case of a test conducted at the time the president arrived from Norway.
How do you know? At the time, how do you know? Because these are serious allegations that you need to.
At the time when world leaders were trying hard to even restrain themselves from travels, that was the right time for our president to decide to begin a globe-trotting. And if you recall, many Ghanaians called him to order. Mr. President, come back home. come home, please shut the borders, do this, do. No. And what happened? We cannot forget the fact of the first cases that were announced to us in this country. The Norwegian diplomat and an alleged Ghanaian from Turkey, which I also believe is false.
Based on what?
In order for, you see, in order for you and I not to question, to be able to determine or to realize that this is how we can zoom into exactly the source, and because, for instance, the diplomat was with the president, and therefore that is a direct source through which this deadly pandemic entered this country, there was the need to add a second person who was unknown, so that you and I can say at least, oh, the first case that was recorded were 2 people, the diplomat and one other, that one other which we will never know. So it could be through that it expanded. Fine. Now, at the time we were all calling for government to shut our borders, to close, or to take up action. What happened? We were doomsayers. We calling us names. And I don't know why this particular government thinks that anybody that is critiquing them is against them. We all want the best for this country. I mean, permit me to ask, if you have an adult who has experienced something before, trying to advise you that my son or my child, where you are heading to is dangerous, kindly be careful. What is wrong with that? Now here we are, and we have to be taking advice from them about how we should stay safe and all that, when you refuse to actually activate the protocols right from the word go.
Okay, so that's your view that the government acted very late. But I want to know, even after acting late, what do you make of how this whole thing has been managed by the government?
Can I tell you one disastrous thing happening right now? And if I'm challenged, I will even give you the location as a media person. Returnees that have just been brought into this country in 48 hours are being put in rooms, 3 in a room. Is that isolation? And out of over 231 people that have just been brought, 62 are actually, in fact, have tested positive. And you are putting 3 people